past few months, I've been giving Ananta a lot of love and I've totally ignored its rival nevernesstoeverness, which is also another game that I plan on covering on the channel. And honestly, that should never have been the case. Nevernesstoeverness has done a lot of things that Ananta has just not done. Nevernesstoeverness has held a beta for their game. Albeit technically being a technical test for the game, it's still a beta and it's still gameplay that we have not had from Ananta in any way, shape or form. The devs of NTE are also taking feedback from content creators and fans in order to improve the quality of the game. So this game honestly should be getting a lot more love from me, and I'm going to fix that from right now. So in this video, let's talk about the likely date of release for Ananta. Will it come before or after GTA 6? That's really the main thing that I'm interested in. But with that said, let's get into the video. Hey, what is up guys? It's Mordant. Now, one last thing before I get into the video. If you're interested in news videos, challenge videos, lore videos, and occasional guides on any of the games that you see on screen right now, then please consider subscribing to the channel. A ton of you who watch my videos aren't actually subscribed to the channel, and I would greatly appreciate if you guys would actually consider subscribing to the channel. The goal for the channel for the year is 5,000 subscribers, so every single subscription will make a huge impact. Also leave a like on the video if you liked what you saw here. But with that said, let's get back to the video properly this time around. Now, Nevernesstoeverness, just like Ananta, is technically a game that you can look at and call an anime version of GTA 6. And when I was thinking about this, it sort of came to my mind. I've been talking about how Ananta potentially could release before GTA 6 because their license is supposed to expire within this year. But I've never actually taken my time to look at Nevernesstoeverness. But here's the thing, I don't have any information about a license for the game, and because of that I don't even know if the game is going to release in 2025. It could have a 2026 release, it could have anything. But one thing that makes me think that the game might release in 2025 is the competition that the game is having currently. Now, I've mentioned that Ananta is a game that a lot of people are looking forward to, and even in my video where I compared Project Mugen to Nevernesstoeverness, I mentioned that if any of these games is to release first, it's most probably going to be the game that everyone plays, and the other games will probably be left in the dust unless the first game that launches badly. If it launches badly, then the other games have a chance to actually come in and take away the markets that all of these other games could potentially have drawn in. So with that in mind, is Nevernesstoeverness ready to launch at any time, or at least is it close enough to being launched at all? Now, if we look at their most recent beta, which I personally think is actually a technical test similar to what Wuthering Waves had, and by the way, if you don't remember the technical test for Wuthering Waves, the game looked vastly different from what we have today. Like, this is what Jinjo looks like right now in Wuthering Waves, but this was how Wuthering Waves looked back in the technical test days. Now, there are still a lot of people, myself included, who actually like the technical test version of the game, but there are also people who prefer the current version of the game. I don't really care. But the thing that I wanted to talk about while bringing up the comparison of Wuthering Waves technical test and NTE's tests is something that is going to tie back to my previous video about Azure Premilia. When I talked about the offline test that Azure Premilia was going to have, I mentioned something. I said that the main reason why the game is actually doing an offline test, or any test at all to begin with, is because they have implemented at least 50% of the core idea that actually makes up the game. And because of that, they're now trying to showcase it to people to see whether people will actually be interested in this idea so that they can actually continue with the execution. Nevernesstoeverness, even though it had a lot of criticisms, was actually a game that a lot of people liked. Yes, like I mentioned, there are a lot of criticisms, but people are still optimistically waiting for this game to actually come out. And I will still, in fact, be making a video talking about the things that people want in the game. It's just been very hard to find all of that feedback, but I am working on that video. But with all of that in mind, the fact that NTE did their test just last year, the ending of last year, and the fact that we're getting to about 6 months past that test, I think that we will very soon actually see something of a beta for the game so that the devs can actually get some more feedback for the game. Now here's the thing, we haven't heard any information about a license for the game, but mind you, I haven't actually done any research into that while recording this part of the video. So if there is actually any information about the license, you'll be hearing post-editing Mordant talking about it right about now. So after doing a little bit of digging, I could not find out any form of information about a license for NTE, and because of this lack of information on a license, it makes it hard for me to actually make an argument for the game releasing in 2025, because like I've mentioned multiple times in multiple videos, games cannot release in China unless they have a license, and this game just does not have a license. So unless they're actually processing the license as we speak right now, and they're waiting for the license to actually get approved, there's no how this game can release in 2025, and by extension, if GTA 5 is actually to release in 2025, because the fact that we are almost halfway through 2025 and we still haven't gotten any form of trailer or news about GTA 6 is making me doubt that GTA 6 will actually release in 2025, but I'm always welcome to be wrong. But either way, because of all of this, it's making it hard for me to think that NTE can release before GTA 6. I think it's probably going to release after GTA 6. So that then leaves the question, if Ananta is going to launch by the end of 2025, how exactly can NTE put up a fight against Ananta because of how stiff the competition actually is? Now, I'm not going to talk about this in depth, but they can just do what Ananta did to them. Now, I mentioned this in one of my videos about Ananta, but Ananta dropped their trailer, their most recent trailer, both the one for the rebranding and the one also showing a little bit of gameplay, right after nevernesstoeverness ended their technical test CBT thingy. And I believed that that was a power move by Ananta, basically trying to steal away all the hype that NTE had already garnered and bring it over to themselves. So I think that NTE can actually do the exact same thing. They can actually just wait. When Ananta launches, they can look at what Ananta has, improve upon it, make it run better on a lot of hardware, and make it better. And one thing that I believe will make nevernesstoeverness have a very smooth launch is the fact that it's being made by the same devs who made Tower of Fantasy. And Tower of Fantasy had its fair share of issues when it launched. I literally could not play the game when it launched. So yes, I do know that I have a potato PC, but still, at least let me log into the game. I literally could not log into the game. So I think that the devs have taken a lot of lessons from that very horrid launch that they had, and they'll be putting those into this game. So I strongly think that this game will have a good launch. It may not be able to release before Ananta, but if the devs play their cards right, and if Ananta fumbles the bag with their release, then there is a very strong chance that NTE can actually do well when it launches. But if all of these things I mentioned don't actually happen, if Ananta launches and it's actually very well received, NTE technically still has a chance to just go alongside it, because I strongly do not believe that it will be able to really do well if Ananta does well. But let me hear all of your thoughts about all of these things that I've talked about down in the comments. Also subscribe to the channel for news videos, challenge videos, and occasional guides, all on this channel. Also join my Discord channel, which I also call my hideout. The link is down in the description. But with that said, thank you all so much for watching, guys, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace, guys.